Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, because I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly that American flag every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Happy Friday. Good morning, everybody out here. Tracy St. Clair over on YouTube. Good morning. Amy, let me see here. Jamie, what is going on? Morning. SP Freight. Thomas Weirden, the coach, is back on a Friday. Let's go. I'm here every single Friday, my man. Justin Berger, good morning over on YouTube. Corey Buchan, TGIF. Yeah, what's going on, you guys? I tried to change something up there because I was having a little bit of issue. As you can see, I'm not in my office today. I am actually down in Mexico right now. I am at my in-laws. It's my mother-in-law's birthday, and we surprised her last night. And we drove down for that, and yeah, so I am going impromptu live here. I tried setting up going on my regularly scheduled one, but I tried to throw a curveball at the old social media world to see if that changed anything out there. And I needed to get it set up last minute because like my Wi-Fi or like my laptop needed to do a bunch of updates and everything. And furthermore, you guys, here's a little piece of advice. If you're ever going to travel and you're going to be bringing your laptop with, make sure before you leave your house, you do all the updates or check and see if there's any updates and everything else. Because I didn't do that this morning, and it caused a little bit of a headache out there from some of my earlier scheduled calls. So just a free lesson, we'll call it that out there. That being said, though, you guys, brand new podcast dropped with my friend Mark Funk. He's with SPI Logistics. That's where my brokerage is through, you guys. But we talked about carrier compliance and carrier vetting and everything else, and then really how can you leverage all of those processes in business development, right? Because that's a really big piece out there is getting your developing customers, right? Like that's a couple of the questions that I have for today's live show is about business development and everything else. And we talked about how do you leverage your carrier selection process in a customer or a business development standpoint. So it's available right now on iTunes and Spotify, you guys. And it's a really good conversation. I really enjoy talking to Mark. And frankly, I enjoy talking to all my guests out there. But let me see here. Today is Q&A day, and it is a sales and operations related questions and answers out there. So if you guys have any questions for the transportation industry, drop them in the chat. I will answer them live on the show. And let me see here. Jeff, I'm using my wireless mic right now, and maybe it's the office that I'm in right now, the echo. Jeff is saying, am I podcasting from my shower, asking for a friend? I'm assuming that's what it is, man. The audio is probably echoing pretty bad. And is it better if I hold the mic up closer to my mouth? Let me know in the comments if this improved the sound on it. I'm just trying to go live every single day, no matter what. Stephen Tittle, what is up? He says questions and answers. It's that kind of day, Friday. Let's go. That is very, very true. Again, you guys, I know that the audio and everything else might be coming in a certain type of way, but I'm out here just making things happen every single day, no matter what. And because that's the reality is it's not always going to sound perfect. It's not always going to look perfect, but showing up and putting in the work is always going to help you out no matter what. And yeah, hold on, you guys. I got a quote coming in from a customer here. Sorry about that. I'm out here trying to make things happen, you guys, every single day. And not only do I not have perfect audio today or perfect video, I got quotes coming in from my customers too, because I got to try and make this work, because this is the reality of building a business, you guys, right? It's not all sunshine and gumdrops like you might want to see out there. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I'm just a dude who's out here trying to make things happen every single day. Right at the end of it, I'm trying to make things happen remote, whether I'm in my office, whether I'm on the road. I'm going to show up and I am going to make results happen for my customers and everything else. So that being said, we got some questions here that came through. If you guys have any questions for me, answer them live, or to have them answered live on the show, drop them in the chat. I will answer them on here for you. John Radvansky coming in from North Texas. What is going on, man? Happy Friday to you as well. First question that I had got today is, hold on, got to pull up, and there we go. How do I grow my market share with my customers? This is one that I don't think is talked about enough, right? Because I think, like, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit deeper on this. And I will put it this way. I think a lot of individuals are more concerned about business development over growing with their current customer base, right? And I think that a lot of individuals are out there. And again, this could come down from a leadership perspective inside of their organization. But I think that a lot of people are constantly pushing, how do I get new business? How do I get new business? How do I get new business? Which is great, right? Developing business is phenomenal. But are you overlooking growing with your current customers? Is all the growth that you guys are looking for, is all of that growth already inside of your four walls, but you're neglecting it, thinking that you need to go out there and develop new customers and grow with new customers as opposed to growing with your current customers, right? Like, are you actively quoting every single shipment that comes across your desk? Are you actually working those, or are you looking at it as, that might not be worth my time and everything else? Because I look at, no matter what, if you really want to grow with your current customers, are you properly bringing the same level of intent to every single shipment, or are you only looking at it as what can you get from that scenario, right? And I look at it like this: last minute shipments, for example. And again, I want to be abundantly clear. I am not telling anybody to not try and make money. I want all of us to make money. Carriers, brokers, shippers, I want all of us to make money. But at the end of the day, are you bringing that same level of intent to every shipment, whether you're making $5 on it, losing $500 on it, or making $500 on it? I think that is one thing that is overlooked out there, is some people have selective caring. They only want to care about a customer if they're making money with that customer, if they're making money on that shipment. And if they're not doing that, they have a really hard time with moving that freight, or they're not going to deliver that same level of service and communication that comes along with it, because they have a screw it mentality. We're not making any money on it. I don't care what happens on this shipment. Because I think that's where the great separators really lie, right? Like, my ultimate goal, what we do is I bring predictable reliability to my customers day in and day out, right? No matter what, they know that they're going to get service. They know that the communication is going to be there. They know that the updates are going to be there. They know that everything's going to be there, because they never know the difference, right? Because frankly, they shouldn't. It's none of their, it's not their concern. They're contracting with me to move their freight. And at the end of the day, I'm going to move their freight at the exact same level every single time, whether I'm making a money on it or I'm losing money on it. And, and then it's also situations that pop up. Are you exploiting a customer because they're coming to you for a last minute hot shipment, or are you just going to move the freight no matter what? I had a couple of those shipments that popped up this week that they were hot, they were last minute. I moved them fair market. I moved them accordingly with what was going on out there. I didn't look at it as, I can upcharge anybody. And I didn't always look at it from that perspective. Of course, I, early on in my career, I took advantage of situations. I wanted to have it be, how does Chris make the most money in those situations? And when I did that, I might have had a short-term gain, but I didn't have any long-term customers with that. And and I think that's the real thing is if you're going to grow with your customers, you have to bring that same level of intent every single shipment. And then it's also, are you getting complacent with them? Where, maybe they've told you like, hey, you're our top provider, you're the best one that we work with. And then you kind of let that get to your head where you're like, oh, these guys are going to work with me no matter what. You've got a little bit of success with them and you get complacent. And I think that if you find yourself in those situations, it's going to be really hard to grow with them because I think when you get complacent, you get lazy. And then you start thinking like you're entitled to somebody's business. And the fact that somebody is going to pay you money, tens or 20s or hundreds of thousands of dollars that's out there. And then you think that you're going to be entitled to the next one. I think that's when you start to lose market share. I truly do, because then eventually they're going to get sick and tired of your service or your lack of service. And then they're going to start looking to outside providers at that moment, right? So I think you have to look at every opportunity as an opportunity to prove yourself and prove your worth so you get the next opportunity. So I think that's the big oversight of a lot of service providers that are out there. I'm guilty of it at times is you think that you're entitled to that next opportunity and you're not. And then if you start to get lazy and everything else, like it's going to eventually cost you business. So I think that's the big separator that's out there in how can you grow with your current customer base is you need to look at every single shipment that you move with them as a proving ground to get that next one. And if you've moved 1,000 shipments with somebody, you're not entitled to that next one. You have to constantly earn it. So I think that's truly how you separate yourself and how you grow with your customers out there. Let me see here. Uma has a question. She says, our company prides ourselves with our best customer service, and we were trained to be humane and care in this crazy dog eat dog world. However, we keep losing business to companies that outbids us by something like $50. Our customers say that their hands are tied, even though they love working with us, and we make everything so easy with them, but upper management decides to go with the most cost-effective options. How do we win these customers back? This is a great question. Uma, how long have you been working with these customers? And then, when it comes down to $50, for example, when you're talking about that, and that their hands are tied and they love working with you, I look at it from two perspectives here. And why I asked how long you've been working with them, to me, it's this. Maybe you haven't been working with them long enough to where they can justify to their leadership on why you might be higher than somebody else in there. I look at it, because I've said this before, price becomes secondary in due time. And it might take a year, it might take 6 months. I think that a lot of it is you haven't been working with them long enough to where they can justify it. And then secondly, this is a tough one to swallow. Maybe you're not as good as you think. I look at myself from that lens all the time, right? Because if a customer comes with, and the $50 example might be arbitrary here, but I've been in that situation, right? Where I thought I was a lot better than I was in that situation. And I think that at times, you need to start looking at what can you do more, right? Because that $50 example is out there. It has happened to me. But then I think once you start looking at it from the perspective of what can you do better, what can you do more in these situations, and then are you adding the ultimate amount of value that you possibly can to these situations? And if you can answer that with a yes, we are doing everything. We are sending photos, multiple updates. We are doing all of that. Our service is there. Then that might be a customer who is always going to look at you as a transaction only. And I've had that happen, right? Where, you can work with somebody, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they are going to go with the cheapest price.
And that is their prerogative. That is their business. And to me, that's why we always have to be prospecting no matter what. Like, right. Like our book of business is never good, quote unquote. We're never in a good situation to where we can look back and take our foot off the gas and stop doing business development and stop doing all of that, because those are very real situations. And then also on top of that, I think to take it a step further, Uma, what would you do if that customer left, right? Like if that transportation manager got a new job and went to go work for somebody else, and then all of that business goes away, So I think that to me, it's always you always have to constantly be prospecting. You have to constantly be looking, how can you improve? How can you get better? Because the real customers that are going to want to work with you long term, they're not concerned about $50. They're really not. They're going to work with you no matter what. And you have to add so much value to them that they can justify bringing that higher price point to their leadership, because it is right. At the end of the day, people have budgets. People need to work off of said budgets, and we need to be aware that we can always be doing more, right? So I think that's my answer to your question there. Oh, sorry about that. And John Radvansky says, take care of what you got first. Amen to that. And then Jamie says, sad that $50 was the smallest guy's profit. Yeah, it's, again, in a tight economy too, is, that's a very real thing, right? Everybody looks at transportation and they look at how can you save money? How can you add to the budget and everything else and add to that surplus? Because that is a very, very real thing. It's a very real thing. And people start looking at things when times are tough out there, and times are, right? Like no matter what, like I don't care what is said about the economy and inflation and everything right now. It's very challenging out there from a financial standpoint for a lot of people, and in those customers that we are working with, their cost of goods are up right now, right? Their cost of goods are up, their profit margins are down, and they're going to look at it from every angle on how they make money, right? So I think that's some things that we're going to be up against in a challenging economy. I really do. Jeff Dickinson says you need to be part of the transition of management. If you are well placed, the business should still be yours. Yeah, I agree with that, Jeff. And I think another way to look at it is does everybody inside of that organization, know your name, or is it just the transportation manager that knows who you are? I think that you need to get down and they need to get down and know everybody inside of that company. So you have some advocacy that goes deeper than just the transportation manager, because people change jobs. Sonny Sharma, good Friday morning, orange shirt gang, late checking. Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Jamie says it's hard to compete with the big boys as a small broker, but when they fail, you have to be there to pick up your slack. And that, that's another good thing too, is are you, from a business development standpoint, are you available for that first opportunity to come by? And, because that's another one of the questions that I had gotten for today is how do I get noticed trying to sell? Like what can I say differently? Is there something I can say differently? And I think that what you brought up here is a great point. Are you truly available for when that first opportunity comes your way? We always want these opportunities to come by 9 to 5, right? And they're always got to be the perfect one, first come, first serve, 24/7, whatever that looks like. Are you truly available, or are you only available for an easy opportunity? And I think that because at the end of the day, when you're going in there, when you're starting off with a customer for the first time, as a broker, as a carrier, no matter what, you are on their highest risk, you're on their their lowest risk, highest reward freight, where it's like their current network is already dropping the ball on that for the most part. And they're like, listen, if you can come in and do it, the business is yours. You can have it. You can, you can run with it. And I think that's where a lot of us start, but a lot of us don't want to start with that, right? We want to start with easy. We want to start with, give us your power lanes and everything else. And that's just not the case, right? You're not going to start there. I think from a business development standpoint, if you're looking at what can you say, do a little research on the customers, right? Don't just send a canned email out there to everything else. And no, you can use templates as long as you're going after, a template that is all produce customers that day, right? You can do that. Don't send the same thing. Don't send the same canned message that says that, you can save them money, you can pick up, you're good at dry van, reefer, flatbed, everything else under the sun. Because I think, you need to sell with intent, right? Like, did you do your due diligence on that customer? Did you do your research? And, and then frankly, when you get that first quote or that first opportunity, are you actually going to execute upon it? Or are you going to look at it and say, I don't want to do that? Because if you're truly serious about building a book of business, if you're truly serious about moving a customer's freight out there, it's going to come in a very challenging time. All right. It's going to come in a weekend load, late pickup, early delivery, whatever that looks like. It's going to be one of those shipments, and it's going to be because their current network dropped the ball. And are you going to be there to actually step in and move that business? And I think a lot of people aren't. I really don't think a lot of people are in those moments because they don't want it. They don't want to work. If you're willing to actually separate yourself, if you're willing to really put in the work, it's going to come in some uncomfortable situation where you're not going to make a lot of money on a load. It's going to be a weekend pickup and everything else, right? And you got to ask yourself, do you actually want it? Like I'm out here right now, like I'm going, like again, like I look at a situation. I'm going to use myself as an example here, and somebody could take this the wrong way, but you know what? So be it. I am going live no matter what. All right. I am doing the work no matter what. I am going to put in the time. I am going to put in the effort. And it's not about having the best sound, it's about the discipline that comes along with it, right? Like I hold myself accountable to do my stuff every single day, no matter what. I could have easily not gone live today. Easily. I could have. And but I'm choosing to because I know that I got to go and I got to do what's expected of me every single time without fail, no matter what. I need to do that. And I'm going to do that, right? Because like this is a blessing. The fact that I get to do this the fact that I get paid to create content and to do a podcast is a blessing, right? The fact that I get to own my own business and do this and work. And this isn't to say that it's not challenging. It's a blessing to do that. And I'm going to continue to show up no matter what. And you got to ask yourself that too. When that opportunity comes your way, are you going to be there to show up or are you not? And that's what I think that you have to do. No matter what, you have to do. You have to be willing to show up because, selling at the end of the day is going to be easy. No matter what, selling is going to be easy. The execution piece is always going to be the hard part in your business, no matter what. That is going to be the hard part. It's going to be the execution piece. So take that to mind. Let me see here. Uma says that we have been with them for 5 years. We are on top of their account, and our account managers go above and beyond for them. I hate to sound like a show off, but customers that left us usually came back regretting leaving us. But during that time that they are gone, there's a small plunge in our revenue. We have locked in rates for our customers. Our competitors do too. Just wish we had the visibility to the quotes that we are receiving, but you're 100% right. We need to look deeper into this. Uma, I look at it like this. I've been in that situation too before, right? Where customers go away because of whatever reason, like they're, because they have a business to run too. And at the end of the day, if somebody comes in for a better price, you need to do what you do in that situation. You need to be willing to walk away and let them, at the end of because like they have to run their business. And if you are truly that good, they will come back to you. And it sounds like that's what they do in those situations. Because I've been there before too. Because you know what? Sometimes they have to do that. They have to explore it. And again, You got to do what you got to do. Because here's what I would always say in those situations, right? Like if they come to me, if I'm moving a load for $1,200 and somebody comes in at $1,000 and I know I cannot move it at that, I'm going to tell my customer every single time, hey, that's a phenomenal rate. I understand that you have to run with that rate on this. I'm here if you need me though. All right. No matter what, I'm here if you need me. And if anything changes, please let me know and leave it at that. That's what I would say in those situations. Chris Goodman says, I would say creating a personal relationship with your client that your competitors won't be able to replicate. I find a meetup in person usually helps if you're able to do this, find out about their business history. And then he said, drop in with a small gift. Jeff Dickinson says, I'm very serious about moving shippers' thought process. That's where the real rubber hits the road. When you work from the inside out rather than from the outside in, knowledge and understanding of a prospect and their business are more important than freight to me. It's a good thing, man. It's a good mentality to have and to kind of run with there. But well, hey, you guys, that is going to be it for today. I got some freight I got to get quoting here, you guys. I got to get after it. And but yeah, we'll be back on Monday, you guys. I got some guests coming on Monday, and we're going to talk about the freight market. And we may or may not be having a shipper coming on Monday on the live show to talk about the freight market and from their perspective and everything else, you guys. So as always, if you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there because at the end of the day, this is how we reach more people. But most importantly, this is how we help more people, is because if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.